Hi everyone, this is Hobo here, and today I decided to do something a little different and do a necro commentary on some of the fights I've had recently. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate everyone who subscribed to the channel and who watches my videos. Thank you guys for doing that. Hope you guys enjoy this. Alright, so this first clip I come into a camp and I see three opponents right here. I decided to target the Ellie first because I noticed that, alright, Warrior isn't a good target to start off with, and neither is a Condi Mess. But luckily for me, they all kind of just stand in my ice field, and that gives me a huge leg up, and I'm able to down the Ellie. I wanted to freeze him to prevent pressure on myself, so get the freeze off, and that allows me to not have to dodge all the stuns from the Hammer Warrior there. Ellie's still down, but I start to notice I'm going to drop, so focus him, try and get him low enough so I'll rally off of him, able to fear away the warrior there, and then I'm able to get the rally here in a second. And at this point I quickly get my heal off and have enough shroud for me to camp it for a minute, get a fear off on the Condi Mesmer and another spin, which I believe pretty much downs both these two guys. Although I do end up going down again for another rally, which is always fun to see these sort of instances where I'm able to get multiple rallies in a fight. So there's the second rally. And then I'm able to get back up, get my heal off, and the Guardian who'd added in towards the end there is already really low just from standing in my field because he was stupid. And at this point, I start to just pressure the downs, make sure that if I do go down again, which I do, I have enough pressure on him to actually just get the rally right off the bat. And so this is one of those fights where, as a Necro, I always think it's funny because I'm able to put out so much Condi damage that they just can't keep up, and I'm able to get rallied. So this short clip is me against just a standard power warrior, and he comes in and he lets me get too many auto attacks off right at the start, get a daze off, and then I just kind of try and kite away. He gets good stun on me there, but I have enough shroud where I can just tank some damage. And then as soon as I get into shroud, I want to get all the bleeds on him I can, and then I get a Spinal Shivers proc and he downs really easily. So that's the end of that fight. Warriors have this tendency to just think they're invincible with their stances, but with my boon corrupts, you can just tear right through them usually. So this is a couple of fights against a power Necro, and really the big thing when you're fighting against just normal power Reapers is you should avoid the greatsword pull, and you can see I do a horrible job at that in a lot of these fights. I'm just kind of, I was a little cocky and a little lazy when it came to these fights, which is too bad, but you can see that I get a nice fear off on a stab through a boon corrupt just from dagger, and then he gets some transfers on me through staff and hits a good freeze, but I still have my elite up in another transfer and he'll go down because of that there. So this is going to be a little bit of an interlude as I let him res up and then break combat myself, but when you're fighting other Reapers, and I think the harder fight's going to be the Condi Reaper variant, which we can all agree, but you want to save really your big transfers for after their passive proc is already procced, and I'll show an example of this later on in the video. So as I go into another fight against the Condi Reaper, I see pop stab, so I just want to corrupt that as best I can, but my Shroud Flash actually doesn't get any corrupt off, which is interesting. And I'm still trying to corrupt his stuff. I'm able to dodge his greatsword pull there, and he wastes his field, but I'm really pressured, but I have full shroud, and I know he doesn't have stability, which kind of screws him up here because I get a full spin, and he doesn't have any transfers left, especially since I dodge immediately afterwards in order to make it so if he does try and transfer, it wouldn't hit me. So I think there's one or two more fights against this Power Reaper. My mistake there. And one mistake I see a lot of Necros making is that when you're in Necro matchups, a big thing for me is it's almost imperative to save your stability until after you know the other player doesn't have any boon corrupt. So you can see here he consistently makes that mistake. I get an easy corrupt off. I don't even need to look his way. Get the corrupt off and he's dead because of it, because he can't do anything about it. And a lot of Reapers, they do this and they don't realize how much boon corrupt you have lying around, and they don't quite understand that if you pop their stability and it's pulsing, I'm gonna just instantly try and corrupt that. I don't care if it's gonna pulse again. That fear is vital to me. I get so much pressure and I get more bleeds, I get more everything, and you can see again here he pops it almost instantly. I don't corrupt at that time, but I'm easily able to go into Shroud and just finish him off because he's wasted his stability. He he keeps doing this where he wastes his stability. I don't even need to finish the fights because he's wasting his stability at times when he really shouldn't be. Which to me stands out as like as a Necro, you always have to be thinking about this type of things. So in this fight, I'm up against a Greatsword Rifle Warrior, and these are always really tough matchups, especially when they're running a tanky variant where they have passive stab, pulsing, and they have their stances, which this guy is. So you can see I see his rifle, and I won't pressure him in Shroud because I think he won't have any stances, but he ends up having that. So I get the freeze off just so he can't daze me and make it so I can't counter pressure him. He's gained some good damage via that gun flame, but I'm still able to get my heal off, and at this point he's out of stances, and I know this, and I get such a good spin right here that he has to pop his heal, and after he does that, he still has a pretty good chance in the fight. Just because I just used my Boon Corrupt and swap weapons to something where I don't have a Boon Corrupt, but I'm stalling time until my Shroud comes off cooldown, just barely get my heal off, Shroud's up, and at that point he's lost the fight just because I was able to get the Shroud off. So those are always really tough matchups against Rifle Warriors in my opinion, especially when they're tanky like that one. So this fight's a 1v2 against Condi Necro and a Power Warrior. So this really shouldn't be a fight I win, and the Warrior's also rifle, which is also really tough, and playing this Signet variant, but big thing here is I hit that fear, and I know he just passive transferred to me, and so as soon as I hit him, I knew I'd get the passive transfer back. He gets 50 stacks of bleeds, he's dead. I try and pressure this down enough, but I just don't quite have enough cleave in this build, especially since I don't have Shroud up. You can see I go into Shroud trying to get him away, but he has Zerker stance up, so I can't pressure him enough. So now I got refocused on the Necro, I get knocked off, and really the big thing here is the Necro makes a mistake of trying to freeze me there, but I still have my transfers up, and I'm able to just stun lock him right there. And the Warrior, since he popped his stances and still had so many condis on him because he's rifle, he ends up going down. But he does get a nice kill on me there, but I knew I'd rally almost instantaneously, so he able to down me again with Gunflame, but he ends up running out of Vengeance right before he stomps me, and you can see I check it there to make sure that that's going to happen, and I end up winning the fight because of it. So this fight's a little different here. I'm duo roaming with a Warrior, and we're up against this guild group, and we see this low B or baseline Necro down below his minions. We decide let's get him down, let's make sure he's not a factor. So Shroud Flash because I want to have it up if I do end up getting pressured later on in the fight, and we're able to down this Necro relatively easily here, get a good freeze off on people, so he's dead outside of Shroud, and we decide like, hey, let's just keep focusing him, let's get him down, and we'll hope that they stand around to cleave. And you know what, that's exactly what happens. I'm able to get an ice field down, and look at that spin right there. Look how many people just end up going down because of it. 1, 2, 3, 4 down right away, and all that's left is a power revenant. And at this point, he can chase me around as much as he wants. He gets a stat 5 on me, but honestly, I don't really care about what he's trying to do. I'm just going to try and make sure the downs stay down. He can't res without dying, so just kind of guide him around. He gets his heal off, but I'm still at great HP, and my friend there is finishing off everyone else in the party, so ends up being a good 2v5 that ends relatively quickly, just because people need to understand you can't stand in Necro Cleave currently. You just can't do it. No matter what you think, if you can, you can't. So this is a really rough fight against a Dagger Pistol Thief, and he kind of loses because he gets a little cocky about it. You can see I'm actually typing to him right at the start, get a decent amount of condis on him, but I keep having to cancel some of my Shroud abilities because I don't want him to just dodge out, especially my ice field. So I'm heavily pressured, and you can see he should be winning this fight. One more palm, and he tries to swag kill me here, and that actually ends up biting him in the ass because my Shroud just barely comes off cooldown, and I'm able to get this ice field, which he stands in maybe just a half a second too long there. And so now I'm trying to get some LOS, and I'm able to just barely get a good freeze on him right there, which really, as a thief, you can't be hit by that. That is what allows me to get back into this fight. So he has to kite away, and I'm just gaining cooldowns, and he opens on me, but I'm able to get right back in the Shroud, so I just barely have enough here, and then a good little weapon swap into just one more auto attack. It's able to down him. And it was a really tough fight, and You know, I lost a couple of the 1v1s against him, especially when he gets to jump like that, just because it's a really, really tough fight as a Viper Reaper where you can't be hitting, can't let them get those palms on you, really, and it's really, really hard to do that. So that's the end of the video. I really hope you guys enjoy, and of course if you have any comments about what I could do better, and I know that it's not like the best commentary, but I hope you guys enjoyed just hearing some of my thoughts about matchups and how I was approaching the fight. So if you guys enjoyed it, hit a like or subscribe. If you don't, then I guess dislike. It's nice to get that feedback too, even if it's not the feedback I'd want. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Probably won't be a commentary, but just one of the normal videos. Goodbye.